Semiconductors are the invisible force powering our smartphones, cars, and AI. These tiny chips, packed with billions of transistors on a silicon wafer, process and store information at lightning speed. Often called the oil of the 21st century, semiconductors have become the most strategic resource of the information age. The history of semiconductors began during the Cold War with military and space competition. Missile guidance systems, satellite communications, and the Apollo lunar missions all depended on this technology. As semiconductors shifted the balance of military power, the US began investing heavily in them across defense, science, and industry. In the 1950s and 60s, innovators from Bell Labs and Shockley Semiconductor helped birth Silicon Valley. Key figures like Morris Chang and Andy Grove introduced the fabless foundry model, separating design from manufacturing, and revolutionized the industry, paving the way for scalable chip production. By the 1980s, the battle for DRAM memory dominance was heating up. Japanese companies like NEC and Hitachi captured global markets with affordable, high-quality chips. The US responded by creating Semitech, a government industry alliance to restore national competitiveness, recognizing that technology is directly tied to national security. In the 1990s and 2000s, Taiwan's TSMC pioneered the pure-play foundry model. Fabless design firms could now outsource production, freeing them to innovate while TSMC handled high-cost manufacturing. This shift laid the foundation of today's global semiconductor economy. As manufacturing advanced, extreme ultraviolet (EUV) lithography became essential for cutting-edge chips. Dutch firm ASML now dominates this technology, while the US leads in semiconductor tools and Japan supplies key materials. Forming a strategic triangle in the global chip supply chain, semiconductors have now become geopolitical weapons. China remains dependent on foreign chipmakers, while the US uses export controls to limit access to advanced technologies. In turn, China is investing billions to build a self-sufficient chip ecosystem and reduce its vulnerability. AI's explosive growth has spiked demand for high-performance chips, both in centralized data centers and edge devices. Specialized chips like GPUs and TPUs require massive processing power with minimal energy use, and competition in this sector is fierce and fast-moving. Moore's law predicted that chip performance would double roughly every 18 months. But today, we face physical and economic barriers at the nanoscale. Innovations like EUV lithography and GAA transistors are critical to continuing progress beyond traditional scaling limits. In this high-stakes game, South Korea plays a major role. Samsung and SK Hynix dominate the memory market, and Korea's advanced manufacturing and R&D capabilities make it a pivotal player in the global chip landscape. Semiconductors here are seen not just as products, but as strategic assets. Tensions in the Taiwan Strait highlight the fragility of the supply chain. A disruption at TSMC would ripple across global industries from IT to automotive and healthcare. Nations like the US, EU, and Japan are now urgently diversifying and rebuilding local supply networks. The future of chip dominance won't belong to a single country. It will depend on how well nations cooperate across design, manufacturing, equipment, and materials. As technologies like AI and quantum computing emerge, semiconductors will remain at the heart of global power and innovation. In short, semiconductors began as tools of war and engines of innovation, but now define the front lines of economic and geopolitical strategy. The tiny silicon chip may continue to shape our world in ways we are only beginning to grasp.